Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're tackling something pretty ambitious. We aren't just looking at the latest tech headlines today. Nope, we are zooming all the way out. We're going to look back at over 140 years of technological history to figure out exactly how to predict the next 20. Because if you really want to know what the AI era is actually going to look like, the secret is already hiding in the history of the devices sitting in your home right now.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. 100 years of appliance history. 2. The absolute condition of hits. 3. Shifting innovation centers. 4. The champion of the AI era. And finally, 5. Multipolar cities leading tomorrow.
All right, starting with Section 1, 100 years of appliance history and the evolution of convenience. Before we even touch on artificial intelligence, we really have to talk about the physical products that completely rewired the everyday human experience over the last century. Just think about how visceral this shift was right around 1880 to 1910. Before electricity, night simply meant dark. That was it. But then, boom, the electric light bulb arrives. Suddenly, night means you can work, you can read, you can conduct commerce. We totally take it for granted now, but experts agree the light bulb was a revolution entirely on par with the modern-day internet. I mean, it literally unlocked half of the day for humanity. And from there, the pace of convenience just accelerates massively. In Generation 2, fans, vacuums, and irons hit the scene, though, mostly just for the wealthy at first. But Generation 3, that is where the world flips upside down. Think about it. The refrigerator means you no longer have to go shopping for food every single day because, well, food finally lasts. The washing machine turns hours of brutal manual scrubbing into just tens of minutes. By Generation 4, we enter this absolute golden age. The three sacred treasures, the TV, the washer, and the fridge, along with AC and rice cookers, bring this dramatic, universal upgrade to the basic quality of human life.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. From 1970 onward, we completely move past basic survival and chore reduction. Generation 5 brings us microwaves, VCRs, and game consoles, so appliances shift from strict necessities to entertainment. Then Generation 6 brings the PC and mobile phones, ushering in the information age. And finally, Generation 7, the smartphone. This is the ultimate convergence. The smartphone literally ate the camera, the map, the wallet, the music player, the TV, and the game console. It basically rolled an entire century of innovation into one piece of glass sitting in your pocket.
Moving on to Section 2, the absolute condition of hits and solving inconvenience.
History gives us a really crucial rule here. Successful appliances solve major daily inconveniences rather than just doing something new. It's incredibly tempting for tech companies to slap a dozen new, flashy features onto a product. But history tells us that's not what wins. Winning isn't about adding. It is all about subtracting. We can see this rule in action everywhere. The washing machine didn't succeed because it was some fascinating spinning water box. It succeeded because it aggressively eliminated back-breaking physical labor. The refrigerator eliminated that daily time-wasting trip to the market. The smartphone eliminated the physical friction of lugging around a camera, a map, and a phone. The absolute condition for historic tech hit is the aggressive elimination of human effort. Which brings us to Section 3, shifting innovation centers and the geography of revolution.
Now that we know what makes a hit, we have to zoom out to the macroeconomic map and ask where these hits actually come from. It's a fascinating question, right? If the smartphone was the climax of the last 100 years, where and how will the absolute winner of the AI era, the next iPhone, be born? To predict that, we need to trace how the geographic center of innovation has hopped across the globe.
Let's look at the United States first. The center of power definitely does not stay still. In the 1880s, it was New York and Pittsburgh, completely driven by the sheer physical power of electricity and steel with giants like GE and Carnegie. By the 1910s, power shifted over to Detroit, perfecting mass production and the assembly line with Ford and GM. In the 50s, it moved to Boston, fueled by massive university research from MIT and Harvard. And since 1975, Silicon Valley has worn the crown, moving from PCs to the internet to AI, backed by an unbelievable concentration of capital and talent. Basically, energy, capital, and universities dictate where that center lands. But this is a global game for sure. Pivoting over to the Asian innovation centers, post-World War II, Tokyo and Osaka became the absolute kings of high-quality compact manufacturing, giving us legends like Sony and Panasonic. Fast forward to the 2000s, and Shenzhen in China transforms from the world's factory floor into the world's premier hardware development city, birthing giants like DJI and Tencent. And most recently, since around 2015, we've seen Hangzhou rise up as a massive powerhouse for software, fintech, and applied AI with companies like Alibaba.
When we map all of this out,
It's literally a geographic baton pass. Just look at it. From New York to Detroit, across the Pacific to Tokyo, back over to Silicon Valley, and then to Shenzhen and Hangzhou. The macroeconomic center of the world isn't static. The data shows us it actually relocates roughly every 30 to 50 years to wherever the absolute optimal mix of manufacturing, capital, and talent exists to solve the next era's inconveniences.
Section 4. The champion of the AI era and predicting tomorrow. So we have all the historical data. We know what wins, and we know how global power shifts. So what exactly does tomorrow look like? Well, if we apply our historical appliance rule to artificial intelligence, the answer becomes pretty obvious. The champion of the AI era will absolutely not be a flashy robot or some complex new gadget that requires you to read a massive manual. No way. The winner will be an invisible force that massively lowers your cognitive load. It'll be technology that automatically handles your scheduling, sorts your data, and anticipates your needs without asking you a dozen questions. Just as the washing machine erased physical friction, the AI champion will erase mental friction. It won't give you another screen to manage, it's going to give you your time back.
In our final section, Section 5, Multipolar Cities Leading Tomorrow and the Decentralized Future.
So who actually builds this frictionless future? Well, here is the biggest prediction of all. The era of one single dominant city, like Silicon Valley in the 90s or Detroit in the 20s, is officially over. Actually, scratch that. It's completely shattered. Between 2025 and 2045, we are entering a decentralized, multipolar ecosystem where highly specialized hubs have to share the global workload. Look at how these roles are splitting up. San Francisco will act as the brain, developing the base AI models and software. Just down the road, Santa Clara focuses purely on AI semiconductor design. Austin takes over the physical realm for robotics and EV manufacturing. And crucially, Taipei and Hsinchu hold the keys to actually fabricating those incredibly advanced semiconductors.
And this ecosystem absolutely requires East Asia to complete the puzzle. Shenzhen will remain the undisputed king of rapid hardware prototyping and mass production. Seoul will supply the vital memory chips and advanced displays. And Tokyo? They'll provide the high-function materials and the incredibly precise manufacturing equipment required to make the chips in the very first place. This right here is your new framework for reading tomorrow's global business news. No one country or city can build the AI era alone anymore. It requires this exact, synchronized global network.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with this final thought to apply to your own life and your own investments. Look at the tools and the software you're using today and ask yourself, is this technology stealing my time, or is it erasing unnecessary effort? Because the past 100 years have made one thing crystal clear. The products that steal our attention might win the year, but the products that give us our time back, they win the century. Keep that in mind as we watch the AI era unfold. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep learning.